So hello, today we are working on a Java graphical user interface application development and the Jdbc for the database connectivity. So we have objectives here. The, the objectives the objective that we have is to develop a Java graphical user interface application to manage the Victoria University library book inventory. So here the requirements that we are going to be needing, things that we are going to be doing. Yeah. So we will need the button, we will need the database connectivity, we will need the forms to add the new books, we need fields, we will need the text fields, we will need the author. Yeah, so we need columns, dynamic updates, as you see them here, all of them. So let's go to the codes. As you see here, this is where I created my project. My project is here, the classes, and my main code where I coded everything. So let me start by first running this code that you can see the output. Yeah, let me start by running this to see the output. Yep, now it's running. So here you can insert in the book ID, which I want to insert in now. Yeah, we already used one, so let me insert it as 2. Then the book title is, let me take that as an example. So the author, let me say it's Melvin, is the author, and the year, let me set in like 2023. So for now, so we go to add book added in successfully, so it will just keep on adding the book successfully. If you want to delete it, you can click there and delete the book. So if you also want to refresh it, the same procedure, you go here, then you're done. So let's go into the codes. So before we go into the codes, here is my database. I created it here, which I named VLib, and I use the access Jdbc for connectivity. So let's go into the codes. Let's go to the codes. So these are the imports that were necessary. So all these imports have different functionalities, but I'm not going to go explaining one by one. Let me just explain them at once. There are those that are going to help us in connectivity. There are those that are going to help us in creating the fields for the user interface. There are those that are going to help us in the key events. Yeah, and there are those that are going to help us in connecting the database and the database and the graphical user interface. So this one for font, it will help us in fonts. So we go ahead to our declaration. So here I'm going to declare the main frame and its components. So these are the components that are going to be in our main frame. We have the J frame, we have the J table. That's where I'm going to create the table from. We have the text fields according to what we have to insert in, where we have these different text fields. So I went ahead to create a database connection. So this will enable us to connect the database with the GUI that we are creating. So here we are launching the application. We launch the application, so we are creating here events that are going to be dispatched in our graphical user interface. So we go ahead and create here the application. Yeah, we go ahead and create the application here. So we have public view. We are initializing the components that we are going to initialize here. You can refresh, and we are also connecting it to the database. So we may stop down here. Here we are initializing the contents of the frame. So here we are initializing the contents of the frame, where we have the view app frame, which is going to go to new, which will create a new J frame. So we set the title, we set the resizable title to false. So here we are setting that part of the title. Here we are going to put the title. So we configure the panel here. We create and configure the panels. So we are configuring the panels and setting them and everything here. As you see this, set new panel, giving it the width, setting its bonds, and we go ahead and add in the book ID also. This is for the book ID. We have the book ID text fields. These fields, it's where we are going to put in the information, like, so this is for the book ID, so we are going to insert in the book ID. Those are the fields. So here we also have the key event. This one will enable us to click in the text fields and insert in data. So go ahead to do the same, the book ID text field, and then we also add another book title. We do the same as we did for the previous book title. Then we go ahead, that's the book title. We add the label for the author. We are still doing the same, but you can design, you can put the width that you want, you can make the font bold, you can put any color that you want. So this is what I used for my work. So I went ahead to, that is still for the book author. Yeah, you can design it in any way you want, put the colors you want. So I also added the label for the year. It's the same procedures as we did above. As I told you, you can put in any color that you want and come out with your user interface that you want. So we also have to insert in the buttons, these buttons that we are going to use. So we start inserting in the button, you set them the way you want them to be, and just like as you see the codes here. So we go ahead, those are the buttons. So here we have the delete button. You set its background, you set its color, you make it active. That's why we are using the action event. Make it active, that it can work, and also connect it to the database, that it can insert data into the database. So we also have the refresh button, as you see it here. So we go ahead to connect everything we did above, all the codes that we did above, from all the labels that we have created, the text fields as you said, and everything as you put them there. So we have to provide the connection between the database and the graphical user interface, so that if we insert in information into the database, it can go to the graphical user interface. So here we had to connect them. So as I told you, I used the net. You can access the net you can access Jdbc dot this to help me connect my database. So I established the connection. So as you see here, this is the path of my database. Let me see. Yeah, this is the path of my database. So for it to work, you must have the exact path. I had even forgotten to tell you what I'm using. It's Eclipse. Software I'm using, it's Eclipse. So that is the path of my database. It must be correct so that it will work. So that is it. And after there, I put this to show message error if the connection fails. That's why I used this. And in brackets I said and in the brackets I said let's take this. I used that to show an error if the connection has failed. Then we go in and add new book to the data. So we have to make codes that are going to add the changes that we are going to make when we are inserting the information into the data, into the graphical user interface, that it can also insert it in the database. So here we did strings, like you have to get the values from the text fields, the ones that we used. So you have to use what we did. So here we have string book ID is equals to that. As you see them, so we have to validate no field must be empty. So here we use the if. So I said if this is empty and this is empty, like as you see here, and the title is empty and the year is empty, so it should print all fields filled must be filled out. If they are not filled out, that's an error. So that means that if you're inserting in your data and information in the graphical user interface, you're supposed to fill in all the text fields for it to work. That's why we are using that, and it will return that you can insert in the right values. I mean the right information according to what you need. So now we're also validating the book ID. We have to validate all of them, from the book ID, from the year, all the labels, we have to validate them. Then we also come to here where we have the try and catch. So here we are inserting in the new book into the database. So here we use the string query is equals to insert into books. So we put the labels that we have. We use the prepared statements to help us do that. So after that, we go ahead to show this. We enable our graphical user interface to show the success message and refresh the table. So this is going to enable us to show the success message. For example, let me first run it again and show you what I mean by that. So what I meant by that, showing the successful message. Let me see if you said book 2, book title, movies. Just using this as an example. Then author, I use Kelvin. Kelvin, yeah, I put 2018. It was published in 2018. So I say add book. This is what I was saying. So it gives me the message, book added successfully. That's why we use that code. And it's there. That is it. And it's there. So I think we are done with the codes for today.